Good afternoon. So I'm here with a new BB pistol. I've got this from Pal Packs. It was delivered door to door, and it's a Desert Eagle. This is a blowback BB made by Cybergun. Not a lot of information on the box, just a bit of information on the end. Okay, it does come with a 5mm Allen key and some BBs. Most Cyberguns do. Okay, there's quite a lot of this to go through, and the light's not very good, so I'm not sure how this is going to turn out because I've got no external light coming through because it's pitch black outside. So we'll see how this video comes out. It might be quite poor quality wise. So that's the actual manual. It's actually multiple languages, but it tells you everything you need to know. There is hop up with this, but I did do some little hop up adjustments and it didn't make an awful lot of difference. So I'll explain that, yeah, as we go along. There's no specifications in the actual manual itself, but I did take some measurements myself. So I weighed the whole pistol, and it's 2.61 pounds. That's 1186 grams. The magazine itself was 360 grams, which is just over 3/4 of a pound. The magazine itself, which I shall show you. The barrel length was 4.5 inches, which is 115 millimeters, and the trigger pull was 4 pounds, which is 1814 grams. Okay. Put it through the crony. I did 15 shots through the crony, gave him a 15-second break. This is with 5.35 grain Umric steel BBs. And it's power-wise 1.36 pounds at the muzzle average. Spread of 8, which is pretty good over 15 shots, with the velocity average of 339 over the 15 shots. That's with a small 15-second break in between each shot, because it was quite cool when I tested this. It was only about 13 degrees, wasn't very warm at all. Okay, so you need to let that CO2 recover a little bit. Okay, so we've got all that out of the way. There's some couple of targets I did. So we'll go to the pistol. So this is the magazine. We'll go to the magazine first. And what you've got a latch comes down, it locks down here. So you lock that down, and I find the best way is to put it down, yeah, with your finger, latch it across like that, and then you'll see there's a hole there, yeah, and you pull your BBs in there. And you can't put more than 15 in it, because once you pour them in, the 16th one will sit on there, and when you release the latch, like so, that'll lock the 15 in, and the final one will fall out. Okay, so you can't put any more than 15 in there. So 15 BBs, really nice magazine. It's got the normal gas seal at the top. This type of shooter, like the Cybergun P226X5, which I have from many years ago, still shoots perfectly. It must be 10 years old. And it's got a very similar sort of design where the actual slide comes forward, pushes the BB out into the barrel, into the seal, makes that gas tight seal there between the sliding port, the top of the seal and slide, and the actual bottom of the magazine, and then the CO2 gets fired through that and down the barrel. That's how these things work. Okay, that's your valve at the end. That's right. Releases the CO2. Okay, so that's the magazine. Right, now this is the good bit. Onto the pistol. This is a chunky pistol, like I said. It's 2.61 pounds with the magazine fitted, so it's a really nice solid fit. This is. Now, obviously, the final shot, it locks back. This has got a full blowback. It goes all the way back. You can see, yeah. So it is quite heavy on CO2, and I shall come to that in a bit. Bit like the Swiss Arms Uzi. Yeah, it's got 25mm mag, single CO2. You'll get 1 mag and maybe half a mag. This you'll get, if it's a nice warm day, 3 mags, that's 45. I've been getting about 2.5 mags, yeah, before the blowback stops, okay? But it's been cold, it's been like 12 degrees outside, so, and shooting pretty quick as well. Okay, so it locks back like that. That's your slide lock there. So if I just release it, it's a real snappy. And the reason why it's so snappy, because there's actually 2 return springs in here, which I can show you in a bit. Now, obviously, that's your hammer. You can't decock this with the magazine in. The reason being, if you've got CO2 in the magazine, and by the way, the CO2 normal, you've got your 5mm Allen screw there. Yeah, put your CO2 in. You see your valve up there. Make sure make sure the CO2 is sitting in that valve, because it's quite a shallow ridge to put the capsule into. So make sure you've got it central before you tighten it up. Yeah, and don't over tighten it. About half a turn is normally enough. Okay. Little note there. Right, so what you've got, you can decock this now, so just hold the trigger, hold the hammer back, pull the trigger, and then release it forward. So you can decock it. You can also fire it single action. It is a single action, by the way. Okay, so it won't fire double action. You've got to pop the slide first before you can fire it. Now, a word on the actual safety. Now, on the real steel, you only have two positions, safe and fire. For some reason, this has an auto position, which doesn't work in UK, obviously, because you're not allowed 4.5mm auto BBs in UK. But there is a middle setted, which I don't know if I can actually show. It's quite stiff. That's it there. And if you put it in that position or that position, which is the two firing positions, you'll certainly get single action, semi-auto. It won't go fully auto. So you can use either, or you can put it fully on for safe. Okay, that locks the trigger. So on this side, if I turn it round, it's quite a stiff safety. So really, so you've got a red dot this side. You can just see it. And if you put it all the way up, yeah, you've got your seals in. So the red dot, yeah, fire and safe. It's quite stiff. That's not a problem really. Most people wouldn't use it, only if you put it down and put it in the safe direction. But yeah, I mean, most people wouldn't use safeties. Okay, so that's the safety. Sights wise, yeah, they're just black, but they are very good. At full stretch, the foresight is almost perfect. There's very little air either side of the actual foresight. I can actually show you this, but that's the foresight. We're fairly close at full stretch. That's a lot tighter. So yeah, the sights are really good, and this does shoot straight with the BBs, with the Umerich steel BBs. Okay, so it's got a nice rubber grip, yeah, really nice hand. I've got medium hands, but sort of fit quite nicely. So even though it's quite a big grip, I don't know if you've ever seen the pellet version that Umerich did. The trigger is actually further forward than this one. You'll see the trigger's at a fair way back. So it's easier for the finger where you're not stretching so much. So it's quite a big grip, but I haven't got huge hands, yeah. It sits nicely, okay. So if I flick the actual safety off, and I'll cut the actual slide, okay, and I'll show you the trigger operation. So yeah, there's a little bit of a first stage. And then as I squeeze it, like I said, it's a 4-pound pull. Yeah, just keep that's it, and it goes perfect. It's a very nice trigger for a BB shooter. I said it's 4 pound, a little bit heavier than some, but it's pretty. I think it's very precise. It's there's a tiny little bit of movement before it goes, but it goes very, very consistently. Okay, so that's the trigger. That's your hold, your slide lock. Obviously, we looked at the sights. You've got rails at the top and at the bottom. So this would benefit from either a red dot, a small red dot, one of the small low profile ones on the top, or a laser, low profile laser on the bottom, which I have got one, I might fit one. And the reason why I'm going to fit one is because this does shoot low. Now, I know this is a bit long-winded, but I'll just show you the targets I shot. So this one here was shot like semi-rested off a bag at 10 yards, and you see I've got two groups, okay? Now, the group here, I was aiming here, yeah, just at the top of the target, and this group here, you can see I was aiming here. So there's about a couple of inches difference, yeah, from a rested position. Shooting it freestanding, it's a bit different. It's more like a 4-inch difference. So I was aiming here, but the group there, notice that that's freestanding, 15 shots freestanding. So it shoots very nice actually, but it does shoot low. So of course, reading the manual, there is a hop up in here, and you can adjust it, and you basically, where the seal is for the BB, there's like a knurled nut behind it, and a little lever, and you have to click it round. So you're supposed to click it anti-clockwise to increase the hop up, and it does. You can see the hop up inside the barrel just come out a bit, but it doesn't do it enough to make the difference. And you can only turn it about 70 degrees, and that's as far around it will go. So I've got mine set to about 9 o'clock position, which is about 90 degrees to the left, and it has brought it up a little bit. Even then, if you compensate for the sight, so for instance, instead of putting this post, I can show you this actually, this post dead on, like dead level with the top, if you alter it, so you bring it up and you aim it so the foresight's a little bit higher, yeah, like that sort of position, yeah, the BBs will shoot better. They'll still be probably about an inch out, or inch and a half out, but you will get a better group. Okay, so it is quite fussy about the aim point, but that's where you get around with either fitting a laser or a red dot. Personally, I'd like a low profile, one of those thin flat lasers on here, so it's not going to be too chunky. I don't really want anything on top because you can still use the iron sights. Okay, right, so this is field strippable obviously because you can get to the actual the hop up, and I can show you this. The manual tells you how to field strip it, but it can be a bit fiddly to put back together, and the reason why I'll show you this. So this is the button here, yeah, the spring-loaded button there. Okay, so you press that in and you rotate this lever, okay, downwards like that. And as soon as you do that, see it moves slightly. Now, what you want to do is put your finger on the bottom slide like that and hold it in position, because this top bit lifts off like that. Okay, now this is where I told you about the twin springs. You've got twin recoil springs. Now when you reassemble this, if you can take this off as well, by the way, if you need to clean it, but it's best to leave this on unless you've got something in your barrel, yeah, because you can clean your barrel, but also you can alter your hop up in there. So I try and leave this on, but when you release the pressure, they'll become loose. So when you come to drop that back in, make sure those two springs are in that position, yeah? They're not come together, otherwise you won't get that in. I'm only telling you this because it's quite important, because you'll be trying to jam it in and it won't go. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and show you the hop up, and I'm not sure I'll be, because I've got no daytime light coming through the window, but I don't know what I could do. I could get a torch. Just hold on a second. Should have really thought about this. The light's gone outside, so I've got no daylight coming through the window, which normally does the job. Right, okay, so there we go. So you see where the rubber seal is, okay? Well, you can see that little knurled bit on the outer edge of the seal. Well, inside, if you put like a very small Allen key as like a lever, and you can alter the outside rim of where the barrel is, and there's a little adjuster, and that adjusts your actual hop up. So if you rotate it anti-clockwise, it'll increase the hop up, and clockwise will reduce it. When it came, the actual adjuster was vertical, okay? But like I said, you can only adjust it a little bit, and it doesn't make a massive amount of difference. So what you do, if you want to change it up, your hop up, yeah, or you get something stuck in your barrel, yeah, you can lift that off, do your adjustment, clean your barrel, yeah. It's a good seal as well. It works very effective. I mean, there's no issue with operating this pistol. It shoots perfectly. Okay? And then to put it back together, this is where you have to be a bit careful. So make sure you're lined up like that. Just check your springs are still in position, because they have to be in perfect position like that. Hold it like that. Then take this and just drop it in. Push it forward till it sits like that. And then grab the back of it, the slide, pull it back, and then flick that lever back into position like that. Then you can let go of it, and that's it, back together. Okay, so that's how you field strip it, and that's how you make the adjustments. But as I said, the adjustments on hop up don't really do a massive amount. I mean, when I first had it, it was shooting about 6 inches low. When I made that little adjustment, it's about 1.5 inches, 2, or if it's rested, it's 4. So it's 2.5 rested, and 4 inches if you're shooting freestanding. But if that hop up gets damp or wet, because obviously it relies on the BB hitting it and spinning the BB back, if the BBs are moist or the hop up's damp or moist, that will affect the actual hop up spin, because it's not getting the grip it needs. Okay, so that's basically how that works. But yeah, this is a really nice, it's like mag release is obviously there, yeah, so you pop your mag in, really nice and solid, full lock back, yeah, full blowback, yeah, that's your mag release there, yeah, slide release, sorry, pull the slide back release there like that, yeah, and then you're ready to go. But if you try and decock it with the magazine in and the CO2 in, all you'll do, the hammer will come through and sit on the valve and it'll bleed all the CO2 out. So you don't want to do that, just drop the mag first, like that, okay? So yeah, this works really nice. It's a pretty good copy of the actual real steel. I have been on the Magnum Research website and looked at the real steel, and it's very, very close. Even down to this grip, you can actually get these grips on the Magnum Research, yeah, these rubberized grips, and they look identical. Just check it out. Go and check in the Magnum Research website and check out the 50 AE, and it's very, very similar. The only thing you won't find is this full auto position on this. Yeah, I can't find any of them that have a full auto, a semi-auto, I mean, why would you want to shoot a 50 cal? A 50 cal only has 7 shots in it, by the way. 50 on full auto. Because they even tell you about the shooting techniques for this on the real steel. And a 50 cal got a hell of a kick. And they say you've got to have your elbow completely locked. Yeah. So you use one hand to hold it, pulling one way, and so this one pushes it, and your other hand pulls it. And the idea is you have this elbow locked solid, because when you take that shot, you're going to transfer all the energy through to your shoulder, so that this thing will recock itself, because that's how they tell you the technique for shooting a real steel one. So obviously with a BB one, that's obviously not an issue. Okay, so yeah, it's a great pistol. Now, like I said, shot count, because it's full blowback. You're only going to get 3 full magazines. That's 45 shots. If it's a nice warm day, and I was shooting it, and I was getting really 2.5 mags. Yeah, at the like, so it's basically 15, 15, and 8, and that's when the CO2 was literally just dropped off completely. So yeah, it's heavy on CO2, but it's good fun to shoot. Like I said, I have done an outdoor shoot, just freestanding, just to see how it groups. And to be fair, that 15 shots there is quite a good group. These two here, I was just basically, that's just where I marked it actually. That's just a 4-inch and an arrow. So yeah, obviously I shot this really quickly, and it was fairly cold. So obviously it started here, and then started to drop and group round here. But that's 15 shots, and that's like probably about an inch group. That's my thumb. So that's about an inch group freestanding at 10 yards. So that's pretty good for a BB, to be fair. After all, these are just purely can clinkers, yeah. So yeah, what do I think of it? I really like this. Like I said, if only you'd get like a bit more out of it, because on the X5, P326 X5, which is also a Cybergun, which I fitted actual proper wooden grips on. I don't know if anybody's seen the review on that, but it's an old. I've had it a long time. Shoot perfectly. That you only get 3 mags, but that's like 18 shots. That's 54 shots you'll get. Well, this is like 45 shots. So yeah, it's not too different really. Yeah, you've got quite a hefty, blowback. It's using a fair bit more CO2 to blowback. You see the actual quality of the finish. Obviously, this is made in Taiwan as well. Tells you in the actual manual somewhere that it is a Taiwan built. It's not made in China. So Taiwanese air guns are really quite good quality. In fact, they're very good quality. Most people, you buy a 1911 or anything like that, they're all built in Taiwan, aren't they? So yeah, really nice. I really like it. So there you go. I hope you like that little review. Hope it wasn't too long. Well, actually it probably was, but there's a lot of this to go through, a lot of things to tell you about. So take care, and thanks for watching.